John Carpenter's 1982 version of The Thing from Outer Space is a remake done right. With its fantastic visuals, oppressive setting, and tight direction, it's the A-lister of B-movies. One of the best things about The Thing is the uncertainty of the events. You never know who might be assimilated next, and you share in the group's ever-growing levels of mistrust over who might or might not be human. Fans had begged to know more about the ending of the film, which sees MacReady and Charles sharing a final drink as the research outpost burns around them, inquiring whether one or possibly even both of them were imitations. As speculation grew, Carpenter finally released this message. Yes, one of them was a thing. Okay, well that's good to know. But which one? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm Jules, and this is Who is Really Human at the End of The Thing. But before we begin, The Thing video game sequel and the comics will not count as evidence towards these ideas. So let's start with MacReady, the main protagonist and the one that the audience spends the most time with. He's our anchor in the film. We come to trust his actions because of the film's framing. Sure, he has his problems, namely a rash attitude and possible alcohol addiction, but he's the closest to an action hero trope that we're gonna get. However, that's not to say that we spend all our time with him, as for a period of time MacReady is abandoned in the snow, only to return later, destroy the Thing's spaceship, and along with Charles, take his place as one of the two survivors at the close of the film. This time period is an ample opportunity for the Thing to strike and assimilate him, and we do need to understand that the reason for his abandonment was justified, in that his torn clothes were found. Now, this in itself is a clear argument for his assimilation, yet the immediate question that springs to mind is, why doesn't he torch the others with the flamethrower, and why would he instigate the blood test in the first place? The short answer would be manipulation. Establishing trust is key for the Thing's survival, and it stands a better chance of getting to civilization if it has others to inadvertently help it. Therefore, the slashing of the blood bank supplies offers a great opportunity for MacReady if he were indeed a thing. By getting himself tested first, he establishes trust, and by setting up somebody else, he can become a hero if he saves them. The reason he resists torching everyone is because Windows is also packing some serious heat, if you'll pardon the pun, as well. And we need to remember that even when Windows is out of the picture, the object of the Thing isn't death, it's assimilation. Yet, if MacReady is a thing by this point, why would he attack Blair and his spaceship if they're on the same team? Well, this could be answered by MacReady himself, as he states that each of the parts of the creature act independently and with their own survival in mind. MacReady is shocked to find that Blair Thing has tunneled underneath the base and is constructing a transport vehicle, yet he can't exactly ask for a lift. Blair is out for itself, and MacReady is unable to steal the vehicle, so he plays along and allows the dynamite to be planted, because this is not MacReady's plan of escape. The Thing can survive long periods of frozen stasis. We know this from its assimilation of Bennings. What it can't do is likely fly a small ship all the way from its destination to anywhere largely populated. So, to MacReady, this isn't even a huge loss, and by eliminating the evidence is more likely to fool anyone who came along to rescue the team. So at the end of the film, if MacReady is a thing, he's achieved all he needs. He's gotten rid of the competition, burned the base to the ground which will incite a rescue, and he's got a fully human body which can simply be left to freeze and wait to be thawed out later. It would also explain why he laughs after Charles takes a sip of his drink. Remember that Fuchs posited that the Thing can take over organisms one cell at a time, and thus they should eat from tins and not share meals. MacReady might be laughing because he's actually infected Charles, which allows him to smugly deliver the line, "Why don't we wait here for a while and see what happens?" There's the argument for MacReady being the Thing, yet, if I'm honest, there's a lot of speculation for that to work. Charles, on the other hand, has a much more compelling set of evidence against him. Let's start with dispelling his defense, the earring. In the 2011 version of The Thing, we learned that when assimilated, the new imitation cannot copy inorganic material such as teeth fillings or, in the case of Charles, his lovely ear accessory and his gold tooth. Both can be seen in the final scene, so obviously he's human, right? Well, while the 2011 version introduces this argument, the fact that it considers itself as a prequel to the original film also provides the counter. The Thing, through experiencing the fillings test, knows that these types of accessories would make for a better disguise. So what's to say that when Charles is assimilated, that the Thing doesn't also take his earring and gold tooth for maximum power to convince? We have to accept that all of the events of the two films have only made the Thing a better infiltrator, but it still makes mistakes. Remember that music sting as Charles drinks from the bottle handed to him by MacReady? Remember the accompanying laugh? Well, what if it's not alcohol in the bottle, but gasoline? When we see MacReady setting up to destroy the Thing's ship, we also see that he's prepared a fair few Molotovs to burn the entire base to the ground. It's therefore not much of a stretch to think that he's also got this bottle topped up with petrol. And when Charles takes a sip from it, the laugh could be confirmation that MacReady now knows he's an imitation, and as soon as Charles drops his guard, he's going to get flamed. But I know what you're asking. Wasn't MacReady shown trying to drink from this same bottle just before Charles showed up? That's true, but then again think about it from this perspective. If the base is going up in flames, you've got no hope for survival, and you don't want the alien to assimilate you if it's still alive, you may well consider ending it all. Next, we have to look at Charles' clothing. It's been well documented that taking over a body often ends in quite messy fashion, and therefore it's interesting to note that Charles is wearing a brand new top and jacket. Seems like a possibly obvious thing to, wear a coat in these temperatures, but it draws attention for being such an obvious change and would make sense if assimilated in typically brutal fashion. Finally, we're going to look at one of my favourite pieces of this film, a little touch added by Dean Cundy, who acted as the cinematographer on the set of John Carpenter's version. He explained in an interview which made it onto the 4K version of The Thing that he used a subtle lighting technique as a way of informing the audience of who was human and who was not. By lighting a shot in certain ways, Cundy managed to put a tiny sheen on the eyes of the actors, and chose to take them out of shots which contained infected members of the team. You can see it here that Palmer doesn't have the eye light, but Gary does. And you can see in the ending that MacReady still has the eye light, but Childs is lacking this symbol of humanity. The theory of the eye light holds up in the rest of the film, so why wouldn't it be used here? There's no reason to think otherwise, but then again, there's a reason why this ending is still discussed to this day. Over 35 years later, we simply don't know, and thanks to Carpenter's tight direction, fantastic creatures, and insistence that one of them is a thing, we'll keep arguing long into these cold nights. So, those were my thoughts on the ending of The Thing. Who do you think was less human at the end? Do you think these theories hold up? And if not, why? This is a discussion after all, so leave your messages down below. And if you got the time, check out one of these videos as well.
The Force is with us. What Culture Star Wars is our brand new channel dedicated to all things Star Wars. We got lists, we got news, we got editorials, we've got ups and downs. We'll be covering everything to do with Star Wars, past, present, and future. It doesn't matter whether you're a prequels kind of person, an original trilogy purist, or if you just really love the sequels. If you love Star Wars, this will be a safe, positive space to come and relax, chug some blue milk, and maybe even have a death stick or two. In the meantime, it would be very droopy McCool of you if you could subscribe to the channel and follow us on social media so you don't miss any of our uploads going forward. That's all for now though. I've been Ewan, and until next time, may the Force be with you. Bye!